I decided to meet at night just because I know with classes happening during the day, this might make, and this will be our last live or recorded meeting. So I hope it's been a class that you've picked up a few things
Oh yeah.
along the way and feel a lot more savvy about tackling this fall. I've gone to the outer limits tonight. So I want to share with tonight what's happening in the office environment. And it turns out about 89% of businesses and schools use Microsoft Office on a daily basis. So since everyone's using that, there are some great new tools that we can use that would be phenomenal for remote, blended learning, whatever we're calling it today. And it's interesting to see what's happening locally. Lynchburg City is going remote for the first 9 weeks in their K-12. We're seeing all the other school districts start late. Of course, CVCC, of course, is remote. Lynchburg, University of Lynchburg now has several COVID cases on campus. And so they're looking at what to do. This week alone, Robin Alexander's downtown had COVID, and so did Waterdog. So they're closed down. So we're just seeing our community a little bit under siege. And I think knowing a better way of how we can connect with our students. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and open my little screen tray. And if you guys wouldn't mind, grab your phones. And before I get you started, I want to clearly state, how did I get this PowerPoint slide here? So I want you to imagine that I have this PowerPoint deck, which we've been, creating for your class. It could come from your online textbook. It could be something you create from scratch. To use the feature called Present Live in PowerPoint, and this feature has only been around for 2 months. I really believe it was created with online classes in mind, and it's free. So even if you're a Google school, I'm saying that for those who are watching this recording later, this would be helpful. When I go to save a PowerPoint, I'm just going to go to File and Save As, and save it, in this case, on our OneDrive. If you remember, the OneDrive is Microsoft's cloud. The reason that this is important, not to only save it like on the hard drive, but on this OneDrive, is in a moment, you all are going to be able to see my PowerPoint on your phone, but also be able to see it translated in 67 different languages, and also be able to give me some feedback. I'll show you. So File, Save As, OneDrive. Second step, I went to a website called office.com. And if you did your Pear Deck last week, this is kind of looking the same, but this is a lot easier. So now that I go to office.com, office.com is the free online site of Microsoft Office. Someone doesn't need to pay or have a subscription to use this. It's a lightweight version. So when I go to office.com, I'm simply clicking PowerPoint. And I'm opening the PowerPoint that I was just working on. So here is that PowerPoint that I saved up in the cloud. Now I'm almost ready for you. So our third step after I go to office.com and open my PowerPoint is just like any other PowerPoint. I go to the slideshow tab, but there's some really cool new things that are here. One is called Present Live. Do you all see this one? And what this button is going to allow me to do is push it onto any smartphone in the world. Now, let me show you one little control. It's under Slideshow, and it's Present Live. Everybody look up real quick and notice when I click this little arrow right here, it says, are you going to share it with only people in your organization? Well, let's say you're an instructor at Central Virginia Community College. That would probably be fine. But you don't know if you're going to have a student who's not logged into their CVCZ. So I always just pick anyone, and that way anyone who knows where we are can join us. So now I'm almost ready for you. I'm clicking Present Live. And this slide wasn't here ago. Present Live throws this generic slide up on my screen. This is not one of my slides, but I'm going to get you guys involved. So everyone grab your smartphone. Now, if you're joining us through the recording, this won't work for you, but when you practice it, it will. So I want you, everyone in my live class tonight, I want you to grab your phone and open your camera. So find your phone, open your camera. I want you to flip your camera so it's pointing at the computer screen and not your face. Now, when you point just your regular camera at this little QR code, you do not need a QR code reader, but instead it should pop up automatically with a white little box that says, do you want to open this web page? Something like that. And I see that a couple of you have already joined, so let me help your other ones get there. So we're opening our camera, pointing it at the screen. All of you are here now. Good. Now, look at your phone right now, everyone. And I'll show those who are looking at the recording. Right now, it shows the slide I have up on my phone, but everybody look underneath the slide. It's doing live closed captioning of exactly what I'm saying. This wasn't pre-recorded and I didn't type this in earlier. Now, you guys help me with this. How about if you have a student in your online or blended class that is hard of hearing? Would this help them, guys?
Yes. Sure.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, let's keep going. Here's what we're going to do next on your device. In the bottom left-hand corner on your own smartphone, I want you to tap the word English. Now, you don't have to change the language, but I'm going to change mine to Spanish. There's actually 67 different languages here. And when I pick Spanish, don't forget a lot of our students speak a different language at home, or their parents do if they're in the K-12. So now whatever I'm saying would be automatically put in students. Let me just real quick. Okay, you guys good. So now the whole audience can see my presentation in their preferred language. Now I want you to all imagine that we're all sitting in the same room. We all have gone, it's many years past COVID. We're not worried about that anymore. Let's hope. Could we use this in a regular class where students, some of them speak Spanish or French or Arabic? Would this help them out, guys?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so this can work face-to-face, or this can happen remote. Now, it keeps getting better. Next thing I want you to do on your phones, I want you to tap the happy face in the bottom right corner. You should see, if you tap it, some little emojis. Would you guys give me a lot of emoji love on the screen? And look up real quick. As we're tapping this, do you guys see all the feedback that's going to happen? Now, look at the last emoji. It looks like a confused face. Everybody act like you're a tad confused. Would this help you to know that some of your students are a wee bit confused as you're presenting? So what do you guys think of this so far?
That's cool.
Now, they don't have to have a device for this to work. Everyone look up at my slide right now and look where my mouse is circling. They could type in this website on any device, Chromebook, PC, Mac, and see the same thing you're seeing on your phone. So it works on any device. And now, as I'm going through my presentation, by the way, how did we do this? We clicked present live. I would recommend anyone. And that's how this pushed out to the phones. Now, as I'm presenting, look at the bottom of my slide. Also on the screen, you're also seeing English. Now, if you notice, as I click to the next slide, I want you to pretend you wanted to see what was on that last slide. But myself as the educator went too fast. Here's what I want you to do on your device. I now want you to point at the left arrow that's directly under the slide. You guys tell me what happens.
We went back to the slide.
Yeah, in fact, you can keep going back. Now, there's not many more slides behind this, but
I was going to say, no, we can go back.
Even 30 minutes after I'm done my presentation tonight, you're going to still be able to go through the slides for 30 extra minutes, scroll up and down and see what I said on each slide if you didn't catch something. Would that help?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
It would. Would it be possible to save?
A student, if they wanted to, I could screenshot my phone and save anything that I wanted to remember. There's not a cute little easy button to save it. I'm hoping they add that sooner or later. Now, here's something else we can do. Everybody look at the slide on your phone. Let's say you're low vision. In other words, you're maybe legally blind. You could put your fingers on your phone on the slide and push your fingers apart. What's happening to your slide, everybody?
Makes it big.
Would this help some of our students who are low vision?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I can play music. I can do anything. Oh, yeah. Thought we'd have a little fun there. So as I go through my slides, and let me give you some information, but let me stop for a second. Any questions so far, you three?
Yeah. How are you incorporating the music?
I just put regular music on my PowerPoint slide by hitting insert and audio, and it lets me play it here too.
Okay.
So if you're teaching, for example, a psychology class, you might play some calming music as your students come in. Wouldn't that be nice?
Sure.
And if you're teaching criminal justice, have you heard the song "Bad Boys, Bad Boys"? No, sorry.
Don't think this time.
I thought we'd have some fun. So now let me tell you a little bit more about what's happening in the Microsoft Office world so you're not confused. For years and years and years, we used to call this Microsoft Office. We had version 2010, 2013, 2016, 2019. Well, the newest version is simply called Microsoft 365. They're getting away from the name Office 365. Why? Microsoft 365 now includes Office, it includes Windows, and there is a new app coming out for families that's free for smartphones called Microsoft Family, that you can watch any of the members of your family to see how fast they're driving for your teenagers in your house. You can watch where they are live on a map. So a lot of parents are doing this. They can even set up profiles for each of their children to say, well, you're 10 years old. You cannot go to violent or sexually implicit content or websites. What do you guys think of that?
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a lot easier in families so that the parents, and then they can actually, with this new Microsoft 365, They can set time limits on their child's device that it turns off, let's say at 9 p.m. and doesn't turn back on till 7 a.m. So a lot of new features that families have requested. You don't have to use this, but I wanted to share with you that is now available. And I think what we're seeing, this is the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, and I do a lot of presentations for Microsoft all over. Actually, this morning I woke up and I presented for Kenya, Microsoft Kenya this morning at 5 a.m. So I'm a wee bit tired. But he makes the statement, if you don't jump on the new, you don't survive. And I think that's important in technology today. But I think they're finally making technologies that are more simple, but extremely powerful. So let me show you just a few other tools tonight that I want you to at least know about. One of these, a lot of our students, especially at the college, need to create a resume, right? You know, to get a job. Well, one way to create a resume is like this, but I don't recommend it. Do you guys think that would help her?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. So let me show you a better tool that's available in Word. It's Microsoft a couple years ago bought LinkedIn, and they've now put it inside the Word product. And regardless of what you teach and what your role is, I think helping students with resumes could be really helpful. So I'm going to pause our session in the phone just for a second, and everybody look up on my screen. Let's say I'm working on my resume, although I'm very happy at CVCC, so I'm not going anywhere. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to the Review tab and clicking a tool called Resume Assistant. Once again, the Review tab, Resume Assistant. Let me just show you what this is, because I think this would be super powerful to help any of our students. I just click Get Started, and I put whatever my role is. Now, I could put, you know, for some of our students, it could be lawn maintenance, right? They mow lawns. They could be a police officer. In fact, let's put in that they're going to be a police officer. And their industry, obviously, would probably be the government. So here we are. I can type in any role of any industry, and what it does, it goes out in real time with artificial intelligence and finds publicly posted LinkedIn resumes with the private and personal information stripped out. So no private names or anything like that. Now let's look at this. If I were a police officer, my duties include, in my experience as a patrol officer, with special attention to handling ABC, alcohol beverage control, sting operations, DUI enforcement, and narcotic details. Now, as we'd read through these, we wouldn't copy and paste these, but at least we'd know that we probably need similar things in our resume. And if I change the role to example, let's say an elementary school teacher, it would then find publicly posted resumes that I'd want to put possibly inside mine. And if you keep clicking see more examples, it would have thousands of resumes. This is a really powerful tool. It even tells you the skills that your resume should include. You know how a lot of times when you turn in a resume, a human being doesn't look at it, software does? Well, that software is called ProFinder. ProFinder is also owned by LinkedIn, and they're telling you here what words in this industry better be in your resume, or it may never see human eyes. Knowing that is really important. And at the bottom, if I pick a city, let me go ahead and put in, let's say, in this case, Richmond, Virginia, or something like that, it would show me teaching jobs for an elementary school teacher that are presently open. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And some of these could be fully online and be anywhere you want to live. For example, Singapore needs a kindergarten teacher, but you can be anywhere. So you never know. What do you guys think of the resume tool?
I love
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
And to show this in our classes, because if our students don't know about this, we've seen some of their resumes without help, right? They're not real solid yet.
No.
Hey, let me go and show you another quick tool here that you're going to be trying. I'm back. I'm resuming my session here. In addition to this, I want to show you PowerPoint Presenter Coach. One of the soft skills that every student should have, regardless of age, is being able to present themselves. And this is a problem, right? A lot of our students are shy. They've grown up with their face in their phone. They're not used to presenting. And if you're going to get through that interview, you better present yourself. So let me show you. I'm going to hit escape again. And I'm going to open a very, very small deck, so I won't have a big presentation to do here. So let's say I am a 9th grade student or a college student, and I have made just a few slides that I'm going to present to my online class. I think we shouldn't be the only ones presenting. I think our students should as well. So maybe I'm presenting about my hometown, Lynchburg, Virginia. So I could be in here. First thing I want to do, let me just add a couple slides here. So I'm just adding a few slides, and I want to show you, I'm going to put a picture in here real quick. Insert picture. I can now add online pictures. I'm going to put in Lynchburg, Virginia. If I would spell it right, I would be more powerful. So I'm going to grab a couple of these pictures right here. And when I hit insert, it's laying my pictures out on my slide. Let's let them catch up with me. I guess I'm using too much internet power right here. So here's a few pictures from our local town. I love the downtown area. I think with all the steeples and the churches and the old buildings, it just makes it lovely. I think I must have pulled a very large picture in. Well, while we're waiting for, oh, there we go. I'm starting to see them come up. Notice when I pick one or more pictures, there's something new in PowerPoint called the Slide Designer. What the Slide Designer, it came up automatically. I didn't have to click anything after I go to insert pictures. And those pictures could have been on my computer. They could be online. I could have found them anywhere. But look at these different layouts. Let me just click on a few of these so you can see them. That looks professional, doesn't it? Or maybe I want to do this. Do you see it even makes some of my pictures? Isn't that cool? Black and white. So if I'm trying to do a presentation, this gives me, you know, a round to look a little more professional with my layout right here. I think I'm going to decide on this one that's about to come up. Now, I'm about to do my presentation, but like a lot of our students, they're not great at presenting. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to click on that very first slide, and just like I did earlier, I click slideshow. Instead of clicking present live like I did earlier, I'm going to pick something else. It's right next to it over here. I'm under the slideshow tab again in online PowerPoint. Remember, to get to online PowerPoint, you first go to office.com. And I'm going to click rehearse with coach. Now, don't forget, we're recording this and posting it. So if you need to watch it later, feel free. Let me just show what this does. I'm clicking rehearse with coach, and look what pops over here on my bottom right. It says, welcome to PowerPoint Presenter Coach. As you rehearse, we're going to give you feedback at how you're presenting. I wonder what this can do. Now, just for a moment, I am going to channel a very shy 9th grade student. Are you okay with that, guys?
Sure. This should be entertaining.
Yes. So let's see what the rehearsal coach says about shy Corinne. Guys, look down here. See what it says?
Mhm.
Try not to use too many fillers. I'm from Lynchburg, Virginia. I want to be a policeman when I grow up. I want to be a policeman. I'm trying to get it to do something. I want to really be a policeman. Come on, computer. It says a policeman might be offensive. What does that mean? The better term to be more inclusive is police officer. It would include both genders. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
So now that I'm, there we go. It might be non-inclusive. So here's my hometown. And then I'm going to finally end this thing. Thank you for putting up with me. Now, at the end of this, look what pops up. This is amazing. It gives me a free, nobody else can see this, rehearsal report that tells me, first of all, how long did I present? 1 minute and 17 seconds. If my teacher had asked me to present for 3 minutes, I better work a little harder. It told me I better avoid reading my slide text aloud. Uh-oh. Yep. And look at some of the things I said. A policeman is better as a police officer. And I have to tell you, especially for some of our students who did not grow up in a home that was always inclusive, they have a lot of slang that they don't even realize would be offensive to someone else. And you could imagine what some of those words might be. Look down here, instead of saying both genders, nowadays it's more inclusive to say all genders. Got it. And look right here. It does say my pace was just right, but I have to tell you, I was too slow. When I whispered to you guys to look at the bottom, I did speed up. But look right here. It looks to see if my pace, notice at times it was getting too low right here. And look over here. How is my pitch? At the beginning, notice I was quite monotone, which is not good. And then I got a little too high pitched here. Uh-oh. And look at some of the fillers I used, and ah. What do you guys think of this?
I love this.
It's
That's
cool.
awesome.
It is.
And
Yeah.
regardless of how polished and how many times we've presented, let's face it, I think every student. Cindy, can you imagine some of your future police officers learning to speak to the public in a better, more respectful way this way?
Yes, absolutely.
And in psychology, would it be helpful if they knew in your religion class to be respectful of everyone?
Sure.
Absolutely. So they can keep hitting rehearse again. And one of your assignments this week is to try, and don't feel like you have to make a perfect one for me. Please, please, please try to make some errors. I'm not going to judge you on them. I'm just seeing if you're
It'll
trying.
be so difficult.
So therefore, but if you're going to have the students present during your remote class, wouldn't this be a great tool so they feel more confident in doing so? And it's not just presenting in our class, it's presenting themselves for the rest of their lives in their respectful, occupations that they end up in there. So I hope some of these things have been helpful tonight. Let's see, let me let me pop out of this and get to near the end for us here today. If you remember, during the other one, I said you may want to go for some Microsoft badges if you're interested. Tonight, I want to offer everyone the Microsoft Office 365 badge, so you know some of the latest features. If you've not done this before, all you'd have to do is go to education, the website.microsoft.com, this number 1 up here, create a free profile with your school account, and click on your profile and redeem achievement code. What this actually does, if you put this code in right here, you would actually start to create, get these badges to be a Microsoft Innovative Educator. And hey, let's face it, it's never a bad thing to show that you are getting professional development. This website also creates transcripts for free of any of the trainings, and they even have other free trainings online that in the future you may want to learn more, and it's all free. So if you want to jot down that just in case you decide that purple code right there. Well, guys, tonight, thanks for joining me this evening. This is our last time in class. Real quick, what was some of the favorite features that we've learned over our little summer class, early fall? Do you remember any of the ones we've learned?
I'm like
The hardest about teams.
The Teams is challenging because it can do so much.
Yeah.
I thought I knew, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And
But
go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
So can I take PowerPoint slides I already have made and present them live?
Absolutely, with doing nothing extra. Just
Wonderful.
go to office.com once they're saved and pick PowerPoint to open them and hit slideshow and present live. Ask your students just to grab the device like you tried it. Each evening that code will be different, but it's no big deal. And so many of my students have said, I was embarrassed to tell you I was hard of hearing or I needed some visual assistance. We would rather accessibility be seamless so that they don't have to ask. We should always, provide it maybe naturally. And I think we're getting to that point that regardless of our audience, everything we will do will be more accessible for all students. Yes? Well, I know I probably overwhelmed you with the start of school. I'm sure you've questioned, why did I do this when school is starting, and especially in a remote fashion? But what I now encourage you to do is just make sure you kind of get finished close within a week or two of us ending. I will give you an extra week or so if you need it. Beyond, if you notice next week, there's only just a final project. Let me just talk through that at the end. Your final project you'll read about is called project-based learning. And all it is you are going to decide in any of your roles in this life, pick just a couple technologies, maybe OneNote or PowerPoint Live or something, and show me a lesson or something that you can use portraying some of the technologies with your world inside them. So think of something that you want to try in your class that you're going to do already. Take a few screenshots of it happening or of what you've made and tell me how you plan on using it. And that's our final project.
Okay.
Okay. So hopefully you don't, by the way, need to write a 300-word paper.
Thank goodness.
None of that. I just now would love to see that you've had a chance to kind of think it through, which one of these would be really, or maybe a few of these or two of these or one of these would be useful for you, and how do you plan on using it? That's all.
Okay.
As I see you guys around campus, if you ever need assistance or even email, we're always helping each other, and please let me know how I can help with my little neck of the woods of technology.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you around campus one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw, by the way, I guess we're not immune to this as well. So we'll have to see how all this goes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, guys, ciao. And I wish you the best of semesters and talk to you soon.
All right. Thank
Appreciate
you. Take care.
Thank you very much.